entertainment. And you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clouds. When you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Baratans too, cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. I done fed up of the dirty water, low pressure, want scream and tell somebody. Imagine 1500 US and they're telling me super salary. I done fed up of the unemployment rate, somebody lie, they say one Guyana. Cause when you look with the oil money going, circulate with one set of banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up.
Basement level vibes with another one, straight up, blackness aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, we have to gather wrong, grab a seat and sit down, pay attention. Education, liberation, we have to stand strong. Benskop upon the radio, lively up the program. Everybody call somebody and let them turn and tune and on the radio and catch the boom song. We boom it up already, we have to boom it up again. Expose and reveal him. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity.
Welcome to Straight Up. My name is Mark Benskop. For those of you who have already shared the link, thank you so much. For those of you who haven't as yet, well, we can't beg you guys. We can't force you guys. It's up to you guys, really. But let me just say that last night we weren't on because we wanted all of you to just pay attention to a little bit of sparks in Parliament, the budget debate. You can call it a debate. It is. We can call it a debate. But let me say this, though, that it's fun. Sometimes you get a little laughter. It is what it is. It is what it is. But the guys over at APNU, they did a great job. And you can turn to your neighbors and say they did a great job. Yes, they did a great job. They did a fantastic job. Good job. Great job. Oh, yes. And so at 14 minutes after 8 o'clock, my name is Mark Pensha. Welcome to Straight Up. Uh, One of the guys over at Win, W-I-N, right? I think he did a fairly good job too. Fairly good job, but that's a guy by the name of not the guy from Borbies, man. Oh man, oh man, oh. All right. We already, the nation already gone through pain with Irfan and Jack Dale and a couple of them other pack who's there in the PPP. But oh man, oh, the one that buy garbage or garbage or garbage. Oh man, oh me mama man, oh me mama, oh lad, oh, right, right. Oh God, seems to have the Irfan syndrome in the country right now in Parliament. I don't know, but this guy from Win, he did a fairly good job. Pandey, but I have some issues with Pandey though, as it pertains to the sugar industry. We know that the sugar industry was killed by the PPP. The PPP destroyed the sugar industry. And my beef with Pandey is basically just, while I understand exactly what he was doing there, want to paint the PNC or the PNC guys, and the PNC guys should be batting and should be defending themselves, not me that got to defend them, right? So the PNC guys, I think they got a raw deal from Pandey, even though Pandey is right in going after the PPP and the sugar industry and how the PPP killed the sugar industry. That's true. Well, I'm glad that Pandey understands that now because Pandey himself was a director there under the PPP at the sugar industry. And so, yeah, I'm glad that he's taken a position now to see that many folks were talking about the PPP destroying the sugar industry. They destroyed the sugar industry. That's a fact. But Pandey took a swipe at the PNC, and to make it appear that the PNC was actually started the downfall of the sugar industry. That's not true. That's not true at all. And so I thought that Mr. Pandey, if he's watching tonight, good night, Mr. Pandey. Not a bad speech, though, Pandey. Don't get me wrong. But I think you weren't being honest politically. And to let the people know, if you, Mr. Pandey, want to blame the PPP and the PNC and so forth, stop for a moment and let me explain to all of you, including Mr. Pandey, that the glorious days of sugar workers were under the PNC government. Rice farmers and so forth. Rice farmers can tell you all of these sort of things, right? Because the infrastructure, all of these things were in place. But specifically with GuySuCo, though, I think when the PNC lost power in 1992, it was a total of the last production was about maybe, 90,000 tons? That was because, Hoyt and Booker Tate and so forth and so on. But 90,000 tons. I'm not sure that the PPP was able to recover from that. But when I say recover, they weren't able to match that because the corruption at GuySuCo started when the PPP took over in 1992. The downfall of the sugar industry started when the PPP took over from about 25,000 workers. Between 1997 and 1998, it was reduced to just about 16 or 17,000 workers. Now, under the PNC days, 25,000. The PPP reduced it from 1997 to 1998 to maybe about 16 or 17,000. Where that 10,000, close to 10,000 sugar workers gone? You can't blame the PNC for that. Now, let me say this to Mr. Pandey, and this is why I'm saying Pandey was being politically and intellectually dishonest. Even though I thought that he was fiery and he gave it to the PPP, kudos to Mr. Pandey, but he wasn't being totally honest when he wanted to paint the PNC with the same corrupt mismanagement, the incompetent brush that he painted the PPP with. And I agree with him painting the PPP with that. But he should also take some blame because he sat there as a director and he should have known these things many years now. Anyways, so let me say this in response to Mr. Pandey painting the PNC with the same brush as it pertains to GuySuCo. During the PNC days, Burnham days, and many of you old folks like myself, right? You guys will remember the days when the sugar industry, how many of y'all know how and what the PPP did to y'all know what the PPP did to destroy the sugar industry, right? And when they think that they're destroying the sugar industry, they destroyed Guyana, they destroyed the economy. They were burning the sugar industry. That is what they were doing, burning the sugar industry in order to spite the PNC. But in doing so, they weren't spiting the PNC, they were spiting all Guyanese. Because during the years when the PPP was burning the sugar industry, sugar price was the highest. But instead of capitalizing on that, Jagan and the PPP decide that they're going to destroy the sugar industry. Cost the nation billions of dollars because they wanted to be spiteful toward the PNC. And that is what they did. And so the PPP guys, you could ask Moses Nagamutu and Ramjatan and them about this. The PPP guys decided that they are going to get into what was called domestic acts of terrorism. And so while they were burning the sugar industry, guess what? The nation now had to be carried by the bauxite workers. That is why you found like a lot of those guys from the quarantine, after the PPP started to sabotage the sugar industry, cost billions upon billions of dollars. People had to rush, and the bauxite industry. And the price of bauxite at that time was also I, as the lady would say. I. Sugar price was I. But the nation was deprived because Jagan, they decided that they're going to burn up the sugar field. They're going to sabotage the sugar industry and dung tools and all manner of things. It was wicked. That was anti-Guyana. That was unpatriotic. Now, let me say this to you guys here now, right? So when Mr. Pandey spoke about that, we'll take a quick break. I notice our operator is signaling for me to take a quick break, probably have blackout in Guyana. But
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fear in the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment, and you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clout. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every...
Corruption. If you're now joining us, good night and welcome to Straight Up. My name is Mark Benjab. If you're now joining after a long time, you haven't been with us, you haven't been doing much with us, but I see the whole crew is back with us tonight. Those who have been peeping, they're back with us tonight. Good night to all of you. You guys know who you are. I'm not going to call your names. You know who you are. And so, and thank you so much. Blackout in Guyana, of course, the usual blackout. But back to the, and this is why I'm saying that Mr. Pandey from WIN has been he's been okay, but he hasn't been telling the truth about the sugar industry. And he said the PNC actually uh, put the PNC in the same boat, so to speak, as the PPP in causing the sugar industry to be where it is today. But that is not true. So somebody tell Mr. Pandey that that is not true, and maybe he needs to correct himself. Because in 1992, they had 800 tons. 800 tons was actually produced under the PNC. That's when, just as the PPP were about to take office in 1992. So lots of sugar was able to develop under the PNC. Workers' rights were respected under the PNC. In fact, under Desmond White, just before 1992, sugar workers got a raise. Sugar workers were, like I've said, well treated. But the sad thing is, in Guyana, the PPP did, they were sabotaging the sugar industry, which prevented the PNC government from actually doing what they wanted to do to develop the country. So just imagine that you're making billions of dollars in the bauxite industry, because those days or years, the bauxite industry was flourishing. Bauxite, price for bauxite was high, price for sugar was high. But the PPP guys, they were wicked, man. They were unpatriotic. They never cared about Guyana. All they cared about was scratching a match and just burning and sabotaging and protesting and firebombing here and there and all manner of things they were doing. They were wicked, pernicious, and corrupt. That is just how they were. And for the most part, they have changed. So again, I go back to Mr. Pandey's speech. When I listen to Pandey, I find him to be a reasonably good guy in terms of his intellect. Don't get me wrong. I don't know him personally, but I just wanted to listen. The others, I just listen for a little laugh and I can't know, right? And so, but Mr. Pandey specifically, I just wanted to hear what he had to say. And so he left out the crucial part about the sugar industry. But let me just give kudos to the PNC and what they did, even under the circumstances, to ensure that Guyana was able to stay alive. Guyanese were able to stay alive, because had it not been for their strength and their vision and their policy, Burnham's vision, Burnham's policy, Guyana would have been flat on the ground, as the PPP's intention was to burn Guyana. That's what they were doing. And so back to the sugar industry, as I try to set the record straight, the PNC, again, along with APNO and AFC, whatever coalition, in 2015, the sugar industry was able to breathe again. Because even though by the time they got into office in 2015, Jagdeo and these guys, these vagabonds, including Donald Ramotar, they killed the sugar industry. And the reason why I mentioned Donald Ramotar, because the sugar industry under him, they did nothing, absolutely nothing. And even when Donald Ramotar, was a director, one of the directors at GuySuCo, they did nothing. The industry, almost all over, we saw protests. We saw protests. This is Wales factory. Under the PPP regime, you don't want to see Enmore factory. You didn't want to see Skeldon factory. You didn't want to see Albion factory or Rose Hall factory and these things under the PPP regime. And so they set a trap. They actually set a trap. They set a trap for the PNC. They destroyed the sugar industry. And then when the PNC got into office, I repeat, when the PNC got into office, they started to complain, right? They started to complain. They started to complain and complain and complain about this and about that and all sorts of things. But they are the ones who killed the sugar industry, not the PNC. In fact, the PNC tried to resuscitate the industry, bring it back. But you know what happened. Typical PNC fashion. Typical PNC fashion. Anyways, let's move on. We got some other stuff to talk, some other stuff to talk about. We want to talk about that. We want to talk about it, guys. We want to talk about it. Hear what? We want to talk about other stuff too. But if you're going to be joining us, speak with your own voice, speak with your soft female voice. Hello. If you are a male, speak with your male voice. Put on your male voice. Say, good night, Mark. Do not come and say, good night, Mark. Anyways, you guys know where I'm heading with that, right? So now that I got the sugar industry out of the way and how the PPP tried to con the nation, Whale Estate, the people had to strike. They didn't have proper pay. I know because I was there over at Whale, right there protesting with the sugar workers when the PPP wasn't paying them. I was on the quarantine with the sugar workers when they were striking because the PPP wasn't paying them. At Enmore Estate, they weren't paying. The workers struck as well, all over. Because you know why? The PPP, when the PNC got out of office in 1992, like I've said earlier, they had 25,000 workers. And how many of you guys know the cane cutter trucks? You know cane cutter trucks? Y'all know what those trucks look like? Well, guess what? Under the PNC, those trucks weren't contract trucks. They were trucks that belonged to GuySuCo. And the mechanics at GuySuCo, that is why they had the GuySuCo training schools. And so when these trucks were in need of repairs, the GuySuCo, those young kids, those little boys and girls, mainly boys, at GuySuCo training school there and Rose Hall, they used to repair the trucks. GuySuCo had their own mechanics at the sugar estates, at Albion, at Rose Hall, at Skeldon, and so forth. But when the PPP got into office, they destroyed every single thing. Every single thing. Those vagabonds, those hooligans, those thieves in the PPP destroyed everything. And so they moved away from GuySuCo owning those cane cutter trucks. You know those big, nice cane cutter trucks? Some of y'all know it. Y'all use it as Uber. Once I recall, we one dance back in Guyana, we did Skeldon Community Center dance, big dance. Place get clean, they clean as they say. Sun come out and we still dance at Skeldon Community Center. When everybody, the girls, you're dancing with them, they think you get carried, you jump in cane cutter truck. Cane cutter truck, you're begging for a drop to go home. I say all of this because it brings back memories, because those cane cutter trucks were useful, not only for the cane cutters, were useful for some of us, right? Anyways, so as soon as the PPP got into office, they got rid of all of that and they started to contract stuff out. Contract those transportation to their friends services, to their friends and their cronies and their family. They did about everybody they just start to contract it out, because you know that's the way of stealing the money. Because if they have a contract with Lal Bihari, and the contract is for $5 million to use Lal Bihari transportation, somebody in the corrupt PPP getting a kickback. And that is why they love the word contractors. Ask all of the contractors in Guyana how much money kickbacks they got to give back to the PPP. You ask them that. Ask how much money they have to give back. I can't wait till the Mohammeds them start talk how much they give back the PPP when they got a contract not so long ago for almost $1 billion to build the, the fire service headquarters along Homestretch Avenue there. I can't wait for them to start talk about that as well, right? But in terms of contract and contractors, that is why the PPP love contractors. And so they sold the sugar industry out. They gave positions and those contracts to their friends and cronies. If y'all think I'm lying, y'all ask Ramutar. Ask Ramutar about what really happened when he was a director at the GuySuCo. Ask him what happened. Ask him what happened to the sugar industry when he was the minority. The minority, the first in the history of Guyana, Donald Ramatar was the minority president. And so he couldn't take it no more because the AFC and the PNC were there, right? The AFC and PNC were there. And in 2011, when they got in there, they started to cooperate. They had a little issue and thing, yes, but they learned from 2006 when the AFC got in with about 6 or 7 seats, but the PPP stole a seat from them. So I think they got in 2006 with maybe about 6 seats or something like that. But the level of cooperation between the PNC and the AFC in 2006, it wasn't there. But they've learned from their mistakes, both sides. And so in 2011, they started to cooperate with each other. And that is why Donald Ramatar was the minority government president, and he bolted. He called elections earlier. He prorogued parliament because he saw AFC and the PNC guys were working together. But of course, in 2006 or 2011, the PPP didn't steal as many seats as they stole in the 2025 elections. And these are the people who love to say that the PNC rig elections. These banners are riggers. Capital RIGGERS, riggers. That is what they are, the PPP, election riggers. Ask Donald Ramatar why it was his intention to stop the counting in the 2015 elections. Ask him whether that is true or not, that they wanted to stop the counting because the numbers that they were watching coming out from the polling stations weren't adding up at all. And so they wanted to stop the elections. They put their hands up. They said, no, things are not working out. What's going on? Something isn't going on. Something isn't right. But they couldn't stop the elections. And that is why the coalition won by 1 seat, because they couldn't. They attempted to stop the counting, mind you, not the elections, mind you, stop the counting of the elections. But they were told by some people that you can't do it. And y'all know who those some people are. You can't do it. And so APNU, they got in there. APNU, AFC, PNC coalition got in there with 1 seat majority. But the PPP started to work right away. Corruption again with the PPP. They started to work right away. And so they sat there and they hatched a plan as to how they are going to try to buy over some corrupt ones. I'm not saying all of them were corrupt in PPP, PNC, and the MPs and things, but they looked for the weakest link, the weakest ones. And they were able to sit down maybe at a place somewhere on Lombard Street, and they plan how much money, whether it's 50 million, 30 million, 40 million cash rip money, and so forth and so on. And so the PPP cannot talk about electoral corruption and malpractices and so forth and so on. They can't talk about that. They're the biggest thieves right now in Guyana, the biggest thieves. That is what they're going to do with that 1-point-something trillion budget. They're going to thief and thief and thief and thief and thief. Now back to the sugar industry. Now that Dilip, also known as Jack David, is on there, how many of you guys remember this here? How many of you guys even know what this is, this building here? Tell me, for those of you you guys who know, as we're talking about the thieves, the PPP thieves, the corrupt ones in the PPP, the thieves. Well, in case you don't know, well, now you know, right? Now you know that this is Skeldon Sugar Factory. Skeldon Sugar Factory. 200 million of your hard-earned tax dollars. Skeldon Sugar Factory. Jagdeo wasted $200 million. $200 million in Skeldon Sugar Factory that became a white elephant. But years later, Jack Day tried to justify it, to say, well, no, it was good. There was nothing good about this other than Jack Day thieved the money. Turn to your neighbors, just like if you're from Georgetown. Talk like if you're from Tong. You're from Tong, right? Turn to your neighbors and say, Jack Day thieved the money. Turn to your wife and say, Jack Day thieved the money. Turn to your husband and say, Jack Day thieved the money. Turn to your woman and say, Jack Day is a thief. Here, find them thieving. They're thief. That is what they're doing. So $200 million wasted with this white elephant, Skeldon sugar factory. Wasted. So the PPP guys have no moral authority to talk about thieving, to talk about corruption and these sort of things. They are experts at that. I repeat, they are experts at that. That is what these vagabonds are about. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've now joined me, I'm just basically trying to set the record straight about GuySuCo, and that GuySuCo is in this state as a result of the corrupt PPP regime. Now, how many of you guys remember? Now remember, how many of you guys remember this guy? Well, this guy, y'all know him, right? Y'all know who he is? All you remember him, right? So this guy is Sesnarayan Singh. Sesnarayan Singh had a lot to say, had a lot to talk about. Lots he had to talk about the sugar industry, all sorts of things he said happen in the sugar industry, and they can't this and they can't that, all manner of things he said about the sugar industry. All manner of things, right? In 2021, mind you, 2021, the sugar industry, as you see here, sugar industry records 1.2 billion in crop losses due to floods. Well, that's their excuse, that it is flood. And because of flood, no, that's their excuses, because they wasted the money. They have no plan, no nothing as to how to run the industry. And so they come and they say, we got the losses as a result of the flood. That is what's happening. And so this Paku, this Nimakaram, this Katahar, this Korhi, this Chamar run the industry down. And he says that he's a what? He's a turnaround expert. He said that he's a turnaround expert. Please don't ask me anything in terms of why is he a turnaround expert. We are talking about sugar factory. Oh, yes. So then maybe for Jack Day and them, he could possibly be a turnaround expert. But let me say this. There is no evidence that he turned the sugar industry around in the right direction. Now, I don't know what sugar he was turning around, but you can just imagine. Now, let's forget about that. It's Jack Day and him. He can turn around whatever and whatever, but he surely wasn't an expert in turning around the GuySuCo to turn around the sugar industry in a way that it would become profitable once again, just as it was for the most part, under the PNC government. Now, look, strike after strike. In 2014, this is not under the coalition government, This was not under the PNC government, This was under the PPP corrupt government. Strike action continues at Skeldon Estate. So the workers had to dung tools. In 2014, this was when Donald Ramotar was the minority president. Sugar became bitter. When you put sugar in your mouth, it's not like what it used to taste. When all of our little boys and little girls, for those of you who are old men and old women like me now, right? Sugar was the best thing since sliced bread. You get one mouthful of sugar, you want another mouthful, to finish up your beer and sugar. But under the PPP, you couldn't eat sugar. You might as well take a chance and eat salt. Salt tasted sweeter than sugar under the corrupt PPP regime. So they have no moral authority to talk or lecture the PNC folks them on the sugar industry. In fact, the sugar industry was saved by the PNC/AFC government. That is a truth. That is the truth. That is reality. That is what it is all about. And so when these propagandists in the PPP, they come out and they're talking crap, they're talking their Jim Cockburn Ramgoat story, you've got to know the history. You've got to sit down and you've got to read and you've got to understand the history. And this is why I want the debate in Parliament to be more than just talk like a man. Well, these things, of course, we get a little after it. But look, that MP that actually took the fight to Kwame. I like that. I like the fighting spirit in the brother. I think he tried his best, but it is under the circumstances. But we need robust debates. We need to throw the records, the corrupt records at the doorstep at the PPP regime with facts, with numbers, with photographs and these things, not just bending your head and reading from a script, long, reading. No, you got to stand there. You got to take the fight to these corrupt vagabonds. I noticed Sharon Duncan did something. I noticed Sharma Solomon did something. There are others. And I kind of like what Pandey from Win did. But like I've said, he was being a bit politically and intellectually dishonest to some extent, right? As it pertains to the PNC and the sugar industry. So you've got to stand up. Well, my confidence is mainly on the 12 guys, right? Sharma was fantastic. Then you had a couple of those other folks. They were fantastic, right? Sherrod Duncan, fantastic. He took that bloody Speaker of the National Assembly to task about the media and media blackout. They're goddamn dictators. They're vagabonds. They don't want the media there to report what is happening. They're afraid. And so early in the day, what he did, Manzoor Nadir, he said, "Oh, those of you who are in the spectator seats, you can't video, you can't give me a break. I've attended Parliament on numerous occasions, and I sat right there, and I video, and I talk, and I took pictures. Since when that has changed? That is the people's house. There's nothing secretive about that. Absolutely nothing." Now, I could understand in terms of people in the audience heckling and so forth. That's a no-no. But since when you're stopping people from taking photographs or from videoing and these sort of things? Since when that is illegal? You know what would have been a way to send a message to this corrupt PPP regime was to have thousands upon thousands of people protesting in front there and asking that your media houses, because nobody trusts NCN. I don't trust NCN. Do you guys trust NCN? I noticed someone said Vince Roy Jordan as well. Yeah, great job, Vince Roy. Great job. That's why I'm saying I'm proud of the 12 MPs. You can't knock me for feeling and believing and being proud of the 12 MPs. I am proud of the 12 MPs. It's not a crime. Isn't it my democratic right to be proud? You guys are entitled, some of you are entitled to be proud of whomever you want to be proud of. Some of you could even be proud of the one Priyamanik General. It doesn't matter to me. It's democracy. But the 12 MPs, we got to depend on them to carry the weight. They're going to carry the attack. They are going to stand up and say to the PP, while, some of the Win guys going to take the attack to Kwame. Right? Oh gosh, this one more people. But somebody mentioned Jordan earlier, Member of Parliament Jordan, as we move away for now from the sugar industry. We move away, but before we go, look, the GuySuCo board, this, before I go over to Vince Roy Jordan, MP, and defend him because he came under attack by a man who is said to be, not me, allegedly, one of the most corrupt ministers in Guyana, and probably allegedly the most corrupt Minister of Agriculture Guyana has ever had. Now, allegations, mind you, allegations. I'm not saying that he is corrupt. I'm saying allegedly. Now, look at this headline. This was in 2014 or 2011 or sometime back then. Check the headline. Are you guys seeing the headline? Can you guys see this far? Karen Smith? Karen Smith, are you seeing? Sandra Noel, are you guys seeing? Ras Ricardo, that's correct, Ras Ricardo. Nima flew best. Nima Best was on fire, man. Oh, gosh. Those 12 MPs. Oh, man. Oh, gosh. Yes. Okay, I'm getting carried away, right? Some people might be hurt. Saiku and the whole crew. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Turn to your neighbor and say, oh, yes, 12 MPs. Oh, yes. Good. Now, having said that, anybody can read the headline here? What's on the page? Are you guys reading it? Are you guys reading it? Are you guys seeing? Let me put my glasses on, but are you guys seeing what it says? It says here, the GuySuCo, because the GuySuCo, they're sucking out the blood. They're sucking out the blood under the PPP. They are blood suckers on the PPP. So look at this headline here. There's a reason why I want all you to take a look at this headline. It says GuySuCo board in which Donald Ramotar, remember we just showed you guys Donald Ramotar, right? The GuySuCo board in which Donald Ramotar was a principal anchor supervised the dilution of the people's wealth over the last 18 years. Yes. Turn to your neighbor and say, yes, because this is accurate. This is what the PPP did to the sugar industry. Oh, yes. And this letter was written sometime in 2011, maybe 2012, and so forth. Guess who wrote this letter condemning the PPP correctly of destroying GuySuCo, destroying the sugar industry, and so forth and so on? This man here. This man that the PPP put as the turnaround sugar factory. So I don't know what sugar factory he told Jack Day that he could turn around. Sorry, it sounds funny, right? But do forgive me. I don't know which sugar factory this guy told Jack Day and the PPP that he could turn around and improve. Maybe turn around and improve his own sugar factory. Who knows? But not GuySuCo. He destroyed GuySuCo. This is a guy who said that Jack Day and Irfan and Donald Ramotar for 18 years destroyed the sugar industry. But yet the PPP tech this Paku, this Katahar, this core right, who fooled the guys them in the AFC, and just like Charandasi, gone. And he lied to the PPP them. Well, anybody could swear them. And then he now says that he's an expert in GuySuCo. Soon as he got into GuySuCo, the man started get fat. This man used to protest with us. And I used to have to give him a chewing gum. Well, we say chewing gum in Guyana, right? I used to give this guy a chewing gum. I used to give this guy a mint. I said, "Bye, what's going on, man? Things so bad?" The man almost faint one time next to me and Lincoln Lewis and us. I gave this man a mint. One mint, a dry up mint I got from a barrel with a set of ants. I just dust out the ants and give it to him. This man used to follow. This man used to walk while we protesting. Well, he came on 1 and 2 protests with us. This banner belly used to go grrr. This is what you would probably call a hungry belly. Ruff, 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 right? And so the PPP took this guy and say that he's an expert in GuySuCo. So he turned around and Jagdeo probably said, this man could fix the sugar factory. So he destroyed the sugar industry, destroyed it, fully destroyed the sugar industry. This is what this Paku did. And so much so that in look at the story here. Look at the story. In 2021, because they robbed themselves into government, right? And they robbed themselves into government as Irfan Ali was sworn in on the second. Not the second, the second. Listen to them speak in parliament and you're going to understand why I say second and development and so forth. They laugh and win people can't talk. But the PPP guys in parliament can't talk. You listen to Mustafa and them guys, they can't speak. Most of them can't speak. As to this one, it doesn't even. You see, community mount is not English, it's Spanglish. Spanglish. So sorry about that. I did like that guy from Borby's guy would talk addressing that Paku was speaker. He said Mr. Borby's, right? So this is what's happening. Anyways, guys, sometimes I get a little bit carried away, right? So this turnaround export, this so-called export, destroyed the sugar industry. And after he destroyed the sugar industry, they got a loss. And you see here, a crop losses of $1.2 billion. After Jagdeo realized that there's no sweetness anymore from this turnaround, quote-unquote, export, Jagdeo then decided that they're going to send him. So now this man is a high commissioner. This man is a diplomat now. This guy is a diplomat now. So that he can get all the money. Now he's a diplomat over there in EU or wherever. Taxpayers' money moving around like some. What's going on, guys? What's happening? What is happening in Guyana, guys? Can you guys believe it? The hypocrisy, the stupidity, the corruption, the incompetence. Every day we see it. So when these Pakus, let me go back into parliament. So when these Pakus now stand up in parliament to say that they're defending, God in heaven knows what is it that they have that they need or they think that they can defend. Just imagine this guy, according to the man in the streets, not me, believe that he is allegedly one of the most corrupt minister of agriculture in the history of Guyana. Probably allegedly one of the most corrupt minister at the government. And so when you listen to this Paku speak, right? This Paku, who originated from Bloomfield, enjoyed the sugar industry days and the rice days. He probably used to go fetch pine bag at Ugan rice mill or pack style rice mill or up by a toll station and so forth. So this guy grew up dirt poor. I know where they used to live, dirt poor. When you drive past their house, you could hear he used to fight up a bite of roti. The roti so hard. Bite up a bite the roti. Suddenly these guys come out and tell you that they're billionaires, they're millionaires, hundreds of millions of dollars. They live in big fancy houses. They go tell you that they save up money. Where they save up money from? Go waterside with Catamaran or Halcyon? This guy doesn't come from, he's not from no rich family, a poor family. Used to eat curry kuras, tea, breakfast, and dinner. By the way, I love curry kuras. I love me curry kuras, right? And catfish and so forth. Don't get me wrong. But this is how this man grew up. Suddenly they're the richest set of people. Richest set of people. Now eating with knife and fork. Used to eat with cutlass, and now he eating with nice knife and fork. Rich, 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 rich. Compliments of who? Who you think? You think it's compliments of cash grant he get 100,000? It's compliments of taxpayers. That is what going on in Guyana. But yet they stand in parliament pretending as though they are holier than thou, and they're standing and they're trying to talk down to the guys them now in the opposition, mainly the 12 guys them, right? Because, I don't beat around the bush. I don't beat around the bush. I say that I like the 12 guys them. And when I say the 12 guys, inclusive of the women members of parliament for the 12. Don't get me wrong. You guys can support who you want to support. And so when this guy stood up there and he's talking about the honorable Vince Wright Jordan gonna stay there in the opposition for the rest of his life. This one ain't even know. He belly so big, he talking and he blowing like a pig we had back on the quarantine named Boom Boom. A pig named Boom Boom. He stands up there sounding just like Boom Boom. Blowing. Panting for breath. Can't make it. And telling people about life and for life and what's wrong with these kunumunus? What's wrong with these Katahars, these Chamar, these Lungera, standing up in parliament pretending that they sit down there like swines as though they understand democracy. Everybody is wrong except them. And look how they're living. Go Bloomfield now and see how the people are living at Bloomfield. Go Blackbush Polar right now and talk to the rice farmers, talk to the sugar workers. Go Skeldon, go Rose Hall Estate, go Albion Estate. Albion Estate, done. Then I get time with the people at Albion, but yet they go at Albion Sports Complex. Albion Sports Complex, and them a cook duck curry, and them a buy rum, and them a give it to the people them. That is what them a call development. What develop? Your belly develop. That why I had develop, your belly develop. Move from Coconut Island, now you're using DDI. Sorry, I shouldn't be saying those sort of things, I do run a serious program here, guys, on 107.1 FM. I do run a serious program. I don't know, guys. But this is why I do what I do, because
I can't take it no more.
So people can't take it no more. You know why?
Oh, Jesus Christ. If cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
All sorts of things happening in that country. And so when these guys stand up and say that they're defending democracy, they're defending freedom of speech, they're defending also, is there corruption galore under the PPP regime. I wish elections could be held right now or tomorrow. The outcome would be different, Trust me. Again, the 12, right? The outcome would be different this time around. I know some of y'all saying, man, we wanted change, so we just do what we got. And no, look, things didn't start yet, but keep an eye on what's going on, right? When the budget debate is over, watch what the PPP going to try to do. They want a 2/3 majority in parliament, because Irfan Ali wants to do a third term. He wants to do a third term. Watch the wheeling and the dealing that's going to go on in parliament. And then some of y'all belly go hot y'all. And when y'all belly hot y'all going to hold it, and then y'all going to ball. And if y'all in ball, this is where y'all
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more.
Anyways, my name is Mark Benchop. Y'all know what it is, right? I got to go. I ain't staying more than an hour with y'all because my days, sometimes it's so busy doing other stuff too. And where is Wayne Caesar, man? Like he gonna hide, like he can't take it no more, or what? Wayne and Gavin and all these guys. I try to add a little humor on the program as well. The guys in the opposition, I like what I'm hearing. Carry the fight and tell the PPP like it is. Cuss them out. Those who can't debate, cuss out, right? Those who can't talk properly, y'all read from your script. But you can't read from your script, do like Harbhajan and throw your script aside and start talk all kind of quarantine talk and things. Say Qatar, them a Korean thing. Say that, right? All of them can be the same, right? But the PPP guys, they can't look at the guys over at Win and say they can't talk and they can't this. Irfan Ali can't talk. Jagde can't talk. Priya can't talk. Mustafa can't talk. The Pandit one can't talk. Kwame can't talk. People speak in English and he's speaking Spanglish, right? There's Spanglish, right? So they have no authority to tell people that they can't talk and they can't this. But did you guys see the part where Priya said, the standing order says that you ought not to be reading from script. You should be. Y'all saw Priya when she first go in Parliament. Priya was worse. Not worse, worse. Y'all saw the part when they were protesting and they behave like hooligans, like vagabonds, like a bunch of nimakarams in Parliament. Y'all, like sometimes I wonder about these people though, right? Anyways, look, I'm going in front of the mirror. I don't have to practice with my male voice, My male voice is always there. And y'all should hear even more of my male voice, especially at karaoke. A couple of weeks ago, I was at karaoke. I'm just going to give you a demonstration of my male voice. I was singing, always and forever, each moment with you. It's just like a dream to me that somehow came true. And I know tomorrow will still be the same. I love you guys. I'm out of here. God bless all of you. I'll be back tomorrow. Maybe we'll talk a little more about the budget. Who knows? But don't let the PPP fool you guys. $1.5 or so trillion budget. Guess what? Soon as the budget passes, they're coming back for more. Because they're thieves. Turn to your neighbor and say the PPP are thieves. They are thieves. A bunch of thieves. That is what they are. They can't change overnight. And now, Irfan Ali still dreaming about selling his fish in the United States. No, I gotta take that back. Right now, Irfan Ali is dreaming about selling catfish, exporting catfish to the United States of America. Oh, he got down on his knees and he beg and he beg. Then U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Me want to sell my fish America by. Take me catfish now. Mike Pompeo gone so till he get kicked out and Trump all this and he gone away. A new Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, visited Guyana, and Irfan Ali down on his knees again, begging, take me catfish now. Take me. And nothing at all. And he's still begging for catfish to be sold in the United. I don't know. These guys are vagabonds. Somebody should remind them about the catfish in tomorrow's Parliament. But for now, my name is Mark Benshaw. I'm out of here. I'm gone. Until then, love you guys. God bless. Continue to pray for that beautiful country, Guyana, as we even pray for our adopted country, the United States of America. Because as what's his name? Laurie Alexander, those of you who remember him, used to say, the late Laurie Alexander used to say, things not regular. Things not regular all over. Not here and not even there too. Things not regular. But as Bortley Chancellor, I don't know how many of you know Bortley Chancellor at GBC. The time The time. I'm out of here. God bless you all, and God bless our beautiful country. Mwah.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout, and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public face, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fear with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment, and you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clout. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Barretons too, cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up.